welcome, Mr. Director. I was going to say good morning, but I realize it's the afternoon. Thank you for your patience. I want to also, with everybody else in the committee, acknowledge your tremendous leadership, your personal friendship, and your willingness to take on yet another assignment, perhaps one of the biggest and most important in the federal government. I think you and I share a concern about the country's fiscal trajectory. Of course, the Secretary of Defense, Gates, has pointed out that this is a key threat to our national security, as had the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Admiral Mullen. I know we're going to not support any cuts that will harm our capacity to secure our nation or the well-being of our troops, but we're going to have to make some tough decisions. A broke country is a weak country. Conversely, a solvent country can be a strong country. You've had to deal with this at the agency. That is, how do you balance the needs and the resources? And I think we've all said, hey, everything has to be on the table, but I'm curious what your thoughts are about what the right size is of our military and how do we determine what our mission ought to be. So I've got two easy questions for you. What role do you believe that the American military should play in the world? And as the senior military advisor to be to the President, when you're confirmed, I'm going to be that optimistic. What would be a set of guidelines that you would use to recommend to the President whether military action is justified?
Obviously, I think that the United States exercises a unique role in the world by virtue of our leadership in the diplomatic arena, but also because of our military power, we're able to back that up. And I think it's extremely important in today's world where there are so many challenges and so many threats that we're confronting that we maintain a strong military in order to deal with those kinds of threats. This is, it's not only the fact that we're involved in wars, but clearly we're facing increasing turmoil, we're facing terrorism, we're facing other challenges. In my view, the United States plays a very unique role in the world as far as providing the kind of leadership that tries to advance universal rights, a peaceful approach to dealing with the world, that tries to advance good economic and political reform. That's a unique role for the United States, and I think we need to continue to send that message and to continue to exert that leadership. So for that reason, I think having a strong military is essential to that larger role that the United States plays in today's world. We hope that others would work with us. We do obviously work with our allies. We work with NATO. We work with other nations. But there is no question in my mind that the United States is the fundamental leader right now in the world in a number of ways. And having the military strength to back up that kind of leadership is very important. With regards to how we approach the use of force, I think there are several important guidelines. Number one, what is the threat to our national interest? Mm-hmm. What is our capability to be able to respond, our military capability to respond to that kind of a threat? Have we exhausted all other remedies and options to the use of force? And then lastly, what are the prospects to get the support of not only the Congress but the American people in that effort? I think all of those things are important considerations.
Thank you for those thoughts, Director Panetta. And I think this will be a topic of ongoing conversations, obviously, as we work to consider how, if we need to, reconfigure the Department of Defense and how we're prepared in a world of insurgencies and cyber security needs, satellite systems that are very, very important to all of us, and there's a real change underway. I also hope that we'll continue to do what we can to strengthen our relationship with China as it becomes more of an economic powerhouse. Hopefully it'll shoulder some of the responsibility on a worldwide basis because of its own self-interest, frankly. Let me turn to energy. I think this has been an area of your interest as well. It's one of a deep concern, but I also think great opportunity for us. Admiral Mullen has said saving energy saves lives. He recently pointed out that before we buy another airplane or ship, we ought to look at what we can do to save the lives of our soldiers and Marines and airmen and sailors through our dependence on oil and other energy technologies. What are your thoughts on what the DoD can do to continue to push alternative technologies and reducing our dependence on foreign oil?
Senator, this is an area that I want to learn a lot more about in terms of how the Defense Department is approaching this. At least from some of the briefings I've gotten, I think the Defense Department really is a leader in terms of trying to develop better energy efficiency, and we need to be because we use an awful lot of fuel.
Yeah.
My hope is to continue those efforts and to work with you and others to try to determine what additional steps can we take, both in the development of weapons, the development of technologies, how we can better use clean energy, how we can better use some of the new forms of energy in order to reduce fuel costs at the Pentagon, but more importantly, in order to contribute to hopefully a cleaner environment.
I've just introduced a bill along with Congressman Giffords. I should say reintroduced a bill that we had put in the hopper in the last Congress that would provide more direction to the Department of Defense. It has widespread support from particularly retired general officers and others, and I look forward to working with you and the chairman as we move to authorize Defense Department's activities for 2012. And you're right, the DoD's energy bill is about $13 billion a year, and the DoD uses more energy than most countries use, which stands out. But it's an opportunity. I don't see it as a burden. I see it as a real opportunity. I think you do.
I think it is.
I see my time's expired, but maybe for the record, I could ask one question, and you could maybe give a brief response, and then if you want to expound on it for the record, that'd be great. I know 2014 is our date for Afghanistan, the full handoff. I do worry about, and you know all too well, about the safe havens and the sanctuary they provide for the Taliban. If we can't reduce those safe havens or at best eliminate them, what are your thoughts on what that means for the hopes of a resolution of the situation in Afghanistan?
I think we can only win in Afghanistan if we can win in Pakistan by reducing those safe havens. I think the two go hand in hand. Doesn't make it isn't, the ability to achieve stability in Afghanistan is dependent on whether or not we can limit and hopefully stop the transfer of terrorism across that border.
Thank you, Mr. Director. And you and both the chairman are my heroes because you've both been sitting here for some 4 hours and with great patience and articulate answers. Thank you. Look forward to serving with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.